What's up, everybody? It's your girl B Octavia, and I'm moving into the new year. It's gonna keep being consistent all across the board. If you're not following me on TikTok, do that because I have different content over there. Sometimes I post it over here, etc. But we will be talking about Master P and his son Romeo falling out. I'm going to give you my view growing up in the early 2000s of what I saw, okay, and what my synopsis was of Master P, of Romeo, etc. So this is a shock to many. This is a shock to me that they falling out. But honestly, sometimes people wake up one day and say, wait a minute, I've been manipulated for years and this fucker got away with it. Romeo came out and said that he is done with his father. Romeo was triggered by Master P saying his well wishes and kind words about the dancer Twitch, who recently passed away. And that was a very lengthy post of Master P's. But on Romeo's end, he isn't that sympathetic or kind to his own kids. After Romeo put this out, it took Master P a few days. But if you're asking, did Master P call his son in response? No. He came to social media to respond. Master P clapped back and said that kids need to stop blaming their parents for their lack of success. But all the while, I'm thinking about how much Romeo's success early on, as far as age goes, contributed to Master P. I grew up in the early 2000s. Born in the late 90s, grew up in the early 2000s. As far as I knew of Master P, he was managing and behind Romeo's career. In my opinion, Master P wanted Romeo to be the next little Bow Wow, and it just didn't hit the same. Don't get me wrong, his show was very successful. He went on to do quite a few things as far as the industry goes, and his name is very relevant to the industry and to many, many people, right? Growing up, I didn't know to the extent of what Master P had going, and honestly, during the time that Romeo was hustling, he was hustling for you. As a child actor, that money, especially back in the day when folks couldn't get emancipated and it took longer than long to do, it just wasn't as simple as it is now for, as Master P put it, kids to have their money that they worked for. This was a time before the rap snacks. This was a time before the noodles. This was a time before the young kids that he has now, that he wants to go into the NBA. This was before Symphonique, which is his daughter. He tried to get a career off the ground for her as well. I can go on, but this was before a lot of that. So Master P's overall apology was not an apology. It was a condescending response. He's saying, aren't you 30 plus? Aren't you a man? I mean, he was a young boy when he was working to provide a life for y'all. He gets clowned a lot on social media, especially for doing that show. But I would never discredit or clown him for anything that he did, because he provided a lifestyle in which at the time you did not. I know about it. I know the car wash movie. I know that you had a successful career, but the records wasn't selling during that time. Can we at least be honest about that? The music was done. You had to find something else, and you used your son. to profit, to keep food on the table, to take care of everyone, all of the kids that you had. And honestly, I feel bad for Romeo because I know that his mom got hurt in the process of him being so loyal to Master P. Master P said something that he said before, and that is, I'm not an ATM. Now, when he first said that, he was talking about, family members who haven't worked hard and who just want to collect and get their bills paid without any progression of their own or hard work. I agree with that. But when you say the same thing about Romeo, it's like, nah. I can't let that skate. I can't let you say that about Romeo because he damn sure has worked hard for you. He has. He kept your name very, very, very relevant, even so much so to have you as his personal bodyguard, or I don't even know what his role was on Growing Up Hip Hop. He would just kind of show up and control. And it was annoying to see. I was saying even then, let Romeo handle his own shit. So my thing is, you always treated him like a little boy. Now that he is acting like a grown man and calling you out, because he's a father now. It's levels to this shit. I feel like Romeo woke up in several different ways. As far as not letting the same behaviors continue. Those type of behaviors of just strictly tough love and shunning the kids that haven't had the successful careers. I could tell that he treated Romeo so good, or he kept him close to the vest for so long because Romeo did do a lot for him. It was beneficial for him to keep Romeo, really close to the vest. Versus now, Romeo can provide for himself. He can collect checks for himself that's strictly for him. And that control has left the building. Now Romeo is in control. You've wanted to little boy him, and you have for so long. But then say, you're 30 plus. Aren't you a man? You never treated him like a man, really. Anytime a parent is so like, okay, I'm gonna jump in this conversation for him just because it's getting too rough. Okay, too verbally, in tune. Okay, he can't handle this. He can't handle that. You wasn't treating him like a grown man. So you can't be condescending and say, aren't you a grown man? You was a grown man too. You was a grown man ever since they was shorties, infants. They could say the same about you. If we talking about Romeo Miller, let's be clear. Ever since I was a shorty, his face has been plastered on Rap Snacks. He has been the face of Rap Snacks, the only face of Rap Snacks, for about 15 plus years. Now, in this new generation, they have the Cardi B chips, the Migo chips, etc., etc. But let's not forget where it started. It started with Lil Romeo face on the chips, and them chips was always bussin'. Them chips was always good. They still good. They probably done changed them a little bit because Romeo then revealed that what Master P does is he builds these companies and sells them, but still wants to take full credit like he is in charge of all of it, when it's people over top of him now. It's quite a few people saying this could be handled off of social media. This is a family matter. We shouldn't even be knowing about this. Let Romeo speak his truth. This is the first time in history that Romeo Miller has been transparent. And I find that to be so sad because after all of his hard work, he still felt You know, coming into a grown man, he still felt like he had to be quiet and be in the back of Master P just saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even though he has achieved a lot. I feel like Master P is the type that be like, even though you worked hard, I worked harder. And you shouldn't be necessarily in any type of competition with your kids. I think that what's being revealed is in the rise of black excellence of this generation, we see a lot of black men be praised for taking pictures with their kids and being there with their kids, and we don't really know the dynamic of it. And truly what I see from this is that whether it's a family that had money versus a family that didn't, in the black community, we are one and the same. I resonate with Romeo's position a lot in finally speaking up and, you know, almost waking up from being numb for decades. Literally. It took me coming into who I am today to stand up for myself and to say, hey, as my father, you're not supposed to talk to me like that. If I'm supposed to have respect for you, you're supposed to do the same. And why things like this happen is because guys like Master P, and I've seen it for myself, a lot of people who are black parents, they treat people in the outside world better than their own children. They treat people on the outside world better than their own families. And this speaks to that. It speaks to the Master P that we get, the Master P that loves encouraging people on social media and saying rest in peace to this one and that one and giving advice here and there. That's the Master P that we get. But what Romeo is telling us is there's a different side to Master P in which he has been quiet about up until this point. Who are we to say, oh, we shouldn't be hearing about this? Oh, take us out the group chat. Nah, I want to be in the group chat because honestly, I never felt a gravitational pull towards Romeo. You know, specifically, I felt like he was very sheltered. You know what I'm saying? And it's a common thing that happens when you grow up in poverty and you are envious of a person that didn't have to grow up like that. That was me. And that was my outlook on it. Whole time, as you get older, you realize the dynamics of our families are one and the same. We at least have one sibling. A lot of us at least have one sibling now that is on hard drugs, that might kill them, that has totally, you know, took a lot of spirit out of the family. A lot of us can resonate with that. But with Master P, I can agree and say that it does seem as though he wants people to feel bad for him losing a child. But what about Romeo and his siblings losing a sibling, losing a sister? We can't always think about the pain of the parents when honestly the siblings are the most connected. We know the most about each other. We know more than our parents know about each other. My parents just said that the other day. Y'all know each other better than we do. But what really sealed the deal for me in watching this all play out was seeing that Romeo speaking out, it was a desperate attempt. And for a son to have to beg their father to pay attention, to listen. And he has to let the world know. And then the father listens. It's sad. It's sad that it has to be like that. But who would know Master P as a father better than Romeo and his siblings? I don't need anybody else to confirm or deny Romeo's experience. And what really set it off for me was the last thing that I read that Romeo said was, in all of the 15 years that he has been the face of Rap Snacks, he has never received a check in his name. He has never seen the contracts. He has never been properly compensated for what he put into that. And they used his likeness for decades. Before there was a Cardi B chips and all these different people chips, there was Romeo. And Master P can't explain that away.